All right, all my makers out there. This is a special episode with my friend Pam Grice, who is a crochet designer. And you guys are going to love this episode if you're a maker, if you are in the fiber arts at all. Pam's journey is so relatable and she's so open and honest and vulnerable. So let me tell you a little bit about Pam. Of course, we met through a mutual friend. You guys know that community and network is everything to me. So I love that the majority of the people I bring on this podcast, I have met, through someone else or at an event or, in an online program. Like these are my people, and it means the world to me to collaborate with them and introduce them to you. And I will be speaking at Pam's event that you guys are going to hear about in this episode. You're going to love this really vulnerable conversation. So, Pam is a crochet designer and psychotherapist, the inspiring force behind the Crochetpreneur blog. Utilizing her therapeutic knowledge and her practical experience of a successful Etsy seller, she guides makers towards both personal and financial liberation through artisan entrepreneurship. When she's not coaching or counseling or crocheting, she can be found indulging in grandparenting duties or enjoying the beautiful vistas of Colorado. She's an introverted people lover. Pam is a constant source of encouragement, solutions, and creativity. She has habits fostered by an unusual childhood spent absorbed in encyclopedias and yarn. Oh, I remember the encyclopedia days. Pam cherishes the lifestyle that crocheting has crafted for her, a fulfilling life spent on her off-grid homestead in the stunning mountains of Colorado with her husband, Kevin, and their menagerie of animals. Oh my gosh, I love it. Pam is just the best. And, my daughter is really into needle felting, and her best friend actually crochets a lot. And, it's just been so fun to see someone have the level of success that Pam has in the fiber arts industry, and just seeing the way that she's diversifying her revenue and the way that she's helping so many people. And you guys know that nothing fills my heart more than to lift other women up who are in the creative industry and just show them what's possible and show them that you can actually make a living doing things like crochet or pottery or jewelry making or whatever it might be. You can 100% make an absolutely great living being a creative person, a fine artist. And I just love that, Pam obviously is making such a huge impact in this industry. So it means the world to me to bring her on. So let's go. Welcome back to the Messy Success Podcast. I'm your host, Elizabeth Henson. This podcast is your space, your corner of the world to be messy, creative, and ambitious as you want to be. I'm incredibly passionate about helping people do what they love and make a living doing it. We all know that is a messy process, but the messy imperfection, the messy success is what makes it all so beautiful. I'm here to help you build community around your brand so that marketing is easy. There's no such thing as a self-made millionaire, in my opinion. We're all in this together. We shine the light on others, focus on leadership. And our theme here for 2024 is the 1% adventure, where we're getting 1% better every single day. So what do you say we get started? Yay! Hi, Pam. I am so excited to have you here with us today. I have told everyone a little bit about you, but now I want to hear in your words, like, what is the Crochetpreneur and how do you help people?
Well, we claim to be, we're going to be the worldwide hub for crochet business resources, training, tools, courses, memberships, encouragement, podcast, blog, all the things. We just want to help crochet business owners to make money. So many people start out as a hobbyist and they want to turn their love for crochet into a business, but they're a hobbyist and they don't know exactly how to do that. So we take them through the process of getting profitable.
Okay. And so some people listening might actually have the question. So you can be really profitable being a crochet artist. This is
You
true.
really can. It takes strategy, it takes pricing, uh,
Mm,
and I think it takes a community to make it
yeah.
happen because it can get really overwhelming. But it's totally possible. We have hundreds and hundreds of people in our programs and just in our free Facebook group who are making, you know, part-time to full-time plus incomes selling crochet or designing crochet or and expanding and scaling their businesses to other sources as well, like teaching or tech editing or virtual assisting and those kinds of things, all within the realm of the crochet world.
Oh my gosh, I love that. I didn't even think about someone who might be interested in like VA work, but then also having a side business with crochet. Cause I'm like, oh my God, how soothing would that be to just use your hands and like let your mind zone out and just be creating all the time? Now, I know before you did all of this, you were like a therapist of some
Mm-hmm.
kind, right? Like, tell us a little
Yes.
bit about that.
Yep. So I was a psychotherapist working with primarily women, adult survivors of childhood sexual abuse for the most part, and women whose husbands had affairs or were sex addicted. And so it was a pretty intense work that I was doing. Like every day was like lots of dark, really hard stories, but lots of stories of healing and victory and all of that stuff. So that's what I was doing before I started coaching. Do you want me to tell you what happened?
Yes, yes. We like
Okay,
to hear the messy journey here.
sure.
Pivoting,
It was
we
pretty.
don't even
It
call
was.
it pivoting. We call it elevating.
Oh yeah. Well, we elevated in a really messy way.
I love
Um,
it. I love it.
yeah. So I was doing psychotherapy. I had my practice in my house, which was great. It was like working from home before that was even a thing. And on the side, I was just selling crochet because I love to crochet. And my husband was a food vendor. And so we would travel every weekend. And he's like, why don't you sell some of this stuff so it's just not piling up around the house? So I would bring my crochet with me, sell it. It was fine. And then I started designing because it's kind of a natural transition to be like, hey, I could be making some passive income. So I had my Etsy shop. I started designing. And then in late 2016, I had a product that went viral, like really, really viral, and ended up selling, I think I'm just remembering off the top of my head, 2,000 physical hats and 16,000 patterns in a matter of a week.
And let me guess, those 2,000 hats were not already made.
They were not made, no. So I had to like scramble, and I ended up hiring 20 contract crocheters to fulfill those orders for me. And so every day people would be dropping off garbage bags full of hats and taking home garbage bags full of yarn. And it was just kind of this revolving door of they would drop off the hats. We had a shipping department in my basement where we would package all of the packages up, put them into a big old garden sized trash bag, and the mailman would come and grab the bag. Every day she would grab a garbage bag or two full of orders and take them in, and that lasted for about 3 months.
Oh my God.
And ultimately it was amazing, but I wasn't prepared for it. I didn't know like what to do. I didn't know, like, I was just a casual business owner. Not
Yeah.
even, it wasn't even a real business, right? So I didn't know how to monetize all the traction I was getting. My video that I posted on Facebook got 100 million views
Oh my
back in 2016, before that was even heard of. But I didn't know how to monetize that. I didn't know how to do anything with that. And I got really burned out.
God.
I ended up getting pretty sick. I now have a chronic illness that was kind of born on the heels of that. Talk about messy. Um, and was like, okay, I don't think I'm ever going to sell a hat ever again. I was like so done with crochet. I'm starting to come back. You can see I have a granny square sitting here. I'm starting a sweater, but sorry, I hit my microphone. Yeah, so I got burned out and said, I don't want to leave the crochet world, but how can I make it more sustainable for myself? Something
Mm.
that fits in with my skills and doesn't like have so much pressure of meeting deadlines and sending out things. And so I was like, well, why don't I combine my love for helping people with my love for crochet and start coaching people? And that's how Crochetpreneur was born. Basically, I started getting messages from people who were like, I had no idea I could make money. I had no idea. Like, we were going to lose our house or our kids weren't going to have Christmas. So they were going to repossess our car. And then I started making things using your pattern. And now I understand how to create a product that actually makes a profit.
Oh my God.
And I was like, I want to do more of that.
Yeah.
That feels
Oh
great.
my goodness. Well, and I was just yesterday speaking to a bunch of high school students about how like going viral is not always what you want. Like, I mean, this story has a happy ending and I'm sure you wouldn't change anything, but like I have talked to so many makers who have an experience like that where a video goes viral and they are not ready on the
Mhm.
fulfillment side of things, and that can really backfire. I mean, you made so many wise decisions to do what you needed to do to get those out in 3 months. I think that's such an impressive timeline. But, imagine not being able to fulfill and like now you've got angry customers, right? So
Right.
like viral is not always a good thing, but I'm
Yeah.
glad yours had a happy ending.
Yeah, I was able to connect with um, a lady. Her business is called Lily Pad, and she had gone viral before. And she was like, here's a couple of things you can do. And I was like, it was so helpful of, like arranging this thing for people to come to just pick up on your front porch. You throw
Mm.
their paycheck in the garbage bag and you don't even have to talk to them. Like it just makes it so much easier to have this like revolving door of yarn and hats and all of that saved my mental health, I
Oh
think.
my gosh, I can't even imagine, like, having to put all that together when you're not really prepared for it.
Yeah.
Oh my
Yeah,
god.
I think it's really important for people to think about, what is the goal of going viral? If it's to get more followers, that's not always a great thing either because you get a
Mhm.
lot of followers who then don't care about you. They don't care about the next thing you come out with. So you get a lot of inactive followers and it tanks your social media. So think
Yeah,
about those things when you're like, oh, I just want to go viral. Well, it's
yes.
not always everything it's cracked up to be. I mean, the cash influx was nice, right? So the money was nice, but I did have to spend a lot of that on paying contractors and
Yeah, well, and the
shipping and
design
all of
side of
that.
things was a little bit more passive, right? Because the design you only make once, and then you sold it, I think you said
Right.
16,000 or something?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
So there was
incredible.
customer service things
Mm,
with the design. So I ended up hiring a VA to like answer all of those customer service questions. So yeah,
oh my
so
god.
as the business short term scaling business, our expenses did go up a little bit, um,
Yeah. My
but
god,
I
you
still
learned how
was
to
able
delegate
to,
really quickly.
yeah, but I was able to buy a camper
Oh my
for
god, I
cash,
love it.
which was nice, which ended up being our home for 2 years
So
later
it's, like,
down the road.
officially, like, the Crochetpreneur funded camper.
It really is, and now it's my outside office when I need time away from the house because
Yeah.
my husband can um, he has boundaries issues. He wants to come talk to me when I'm working in the house. So we put the camper out in the yard, and that's my Crochetpreneur headquarters when I need to get out of the house.
Oh my
So
gosh, I love it. I can so relate. Like, I, like, walk around the kitchen and I'm, like, just wanting my husband to pay attention to me, right? But then if I'm in my office and he comes and he sits on this couch, I'm like, "What are you doing?" I'm
I'm
thinking.
working.
I am using my brain. This is not the time, but, like, I will be the one to bother him every other time of the day if I'm not in this office. Oh my
I
gosh.
can so relate to that.
Okay, so tell us a little bit about the because you're not still practicing your therapy, right? Are you doing that at all? Or are you
No,
a completely
no,
full-time entrepreneur?
I can't give up my, my license to practice.
Right.
So it's still there in the background, but I haven't counseled anyone, I think, since 2018.
Oh
I
my
think
gosh.
I
So
just
tell us a little bit about that transition. I think, one of the questions that I get asked all the time is like, how did you know you were ready, to go full time and like leave something that brought you so much stability?
sure. So for me, I ended up starting a membership and selling a course. And as that grew and I started getting that regular revenue from that source, I was like, okay, now I'm ready to transition. So basically, I did both until they were kind of equal to what I was making in my last job before I transitioned. So it was nice to have like a cash influx in that meantime of now we're making double as much as we were before, but it wasn't sustainable. So it
Yeah.
was like a short term hustle that I knew was going to end at some point of like, we're going to hustle for the next year to get our revenue up high enough so that we can let this other thing go.
Yeah.
So, and then I just kind of gradually, as my clients got to a place where they were done, I just wouldn't take on a new client. So then we gradually transitioned over to just doing coaching.
Oh my gosh. And have you ever looked back? Do you feel like you traded a 9 to 5 for a 24/7, like they say?
You know what? What's really interesting is my counseling practice, I was working less than 5 hours a week.
Oh my gosh.
So I traded 5 hours a week for 60 hours a week. And no, I wouldn't go back though. Um, just because there's a lot less there's a lot less weight to carry with the business I have now compared to the business I had then. I was a therapist for 10 years working in, a really deep, heavy field. And so making that transition has been good that I can let go of some of those stories. And um, you don't
Yeah.
always like to hear about the darkest parts of the world and
Oh my
humanity and
gosh, I can't
all of
imagine. And
that. So,
like now you get to be the protagonist, right? Like before you kind of had to live in like people's antagonist story. And now
yes.
you get to show people what's possible and live in this place of light, even if it is
Mhm.
more work and more computer hours. Like I can only imagine that it's so much more fulfilling, versus draining.
Yeah. I mean, the other job was fulfilling, but in a totally different way. And
Yeah.
when people didn't make progress in the old way, it was just heartbreaking. And now I'm just
Mm.
like, well, your choices are your choices.
Yeah.
you know, like,
It's not your job to fix them if they can't figure it out.
yeah, yep.
Oh my gosh, I love it.
So,
Okay, so you and I are both hosting events in April, and I'm so excited that I'm going to be at your event. I have been telling people, like, this is so kind of random, but I'm going to be speaking to an audience of crochet artists, which is not really random because I love helping creative women more than any other type of
mhm.
audience. But tell us, like, how this came to be. I know you've been dreaming up an event for a while, and it's actually happening. So,
Yes.
yeah, just share a little bit about like was it scary? Did you have to overcome any like moments of resistance?
It's still scary a little bit. Yeah, so what happened was in 2020, I was planning an in-person event, small, 30 people in-person event, super chill. I had no stress about it, and then COVID happened. And so I was like, all right, we're going to make this thing virtual. And so we took it because it was like 3 weeks before. It was going to be in April, and so March is when everything happened. So we took it virtual, and that was really successful. I was like, okay, well, now I really like virtual events. So I've been doing a virtual conference, virtual summit every year.
Hmm.
That's been really successful, but people are itching to be in person and to like, you get to know people. Like, we've gotten to know each other online, and like meeting in person is just so powerful to be in the same energy in the same room to like really get to know a person. And people realize that like we need to be in the room with these people that we've known for 5, 10 years online, but I want to really know them and I want to really be with them and gain the momentum that happens when we're all kind of like, yeah. So they've been asking for an in-person event, so I was like, all right, we're going to go back and we're going to try it again, but this time I was feeling called to make it a little bit bigger of a thing, to make it not just for like my top clients, but for anybody who wants to come.
Oh,
So so I booked a venue, and I mean we're hoping to get 100 people.
yeah.
And is it scary? Oh my gosh.
Well, I did a whole podcast episode on how I wanted to quit mine and give my money back. So you're in a safe place.
So I was in that place a couple of weeks ago of like, oh my gosh, I'm just gonna. It keeps me awake at night. Just thinking about either it's like thinking about the decorations and the classes and the community and all that really fun stuff, or thinking about like I gotta get enough people to come to this thing to cover my expenses.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like if I don't, that's like coming out of my retirement account. Like I
Mm.
don't. That is not wise. So yeah, so there's this balance, and yeah, it's super super scary,
Have you
super
had any
scary.
luck with finding sponsors so far?
So I have a couple of sponsors. Shout out to Lion Brand Yarn and We Crochet.
Yeah. 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 Okay, awesome. Because I
um,
know that really helped me like alleviate the financial pressure. Like once I signed on, like a reasonable size sponsor, I was like, okay, the venue is like pretty much covered. Like,
uh-huh.
I mean, and I'm not doing a hotel, so I have a much smaller venue than you, but yeah, the sponsors are amazing, and it hasn't been as difficult as I thought. And I don't know if you've run into that. I think it's really just finding the right companies that know the value of like your audience.
Yeah. So one of the hard parts for me is that our industry is very much influencer centric.
Mm,
So the corporations are used to working with influencers, but it's very much in an underpriced way historically in our niche.
mm,
And I personally was like, I'm not an influencer. I don't want to work with sponsors. I'm not connecting with these companies. Like, I'm doing my thing. And so now I'm like, oh, now I'm reaching out to these companies. They're like, we don't know who you are. Well, some of them are like, oh yeah, we know you, but we haven't had any work. We hadn't done any work together before. So there's that period of growing that trust
mm,
and saying like, hey, like, the do you have the registrations that we're hoping for? Like, we don't want to invest in a conference that people aren't going to show up for because it's a waste of money on our end and all of that. So for me, because I don't have any experience with getting sponsorships and stuff, that's been kind of tough.
yeah.
Um, and I'm just so introverted that I'm like, man, I just don't want to talk to people. So
Oh my gosh. I know I enjoy the networking piece of it, but I think for conferences specifically like tech companies. So I don't know like crochet wise, like I know a lot of them are probably on Etsy and
mm,
Shopify, but like are there any third party like tech companies that might be helpful for their marketing? That might be an area that you could look at.
yeah, so I'm reaching out to like Mediavine and Thrivecart
Mm,
and AdThrive, Tailwind, those kinds of the thing that the bloggers would use to get the word out, like all of those
yeah.
things that folks need for marketing.
Oh yeah, blogging
We're
stuff.
reaching
That's a
out to
good one.
them, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That was good. I love
And
Thrivecart. Shout
I
out
did
to
have a
Thrivecart.
right. I had a call yesterday with an app, the marketing person for an app that works with crochet designers to get their patterns digitized and available inside the app for different people. So that looks promising. So I don't want to
Yeah.
say who that is because it's not solidified yet, but hopefully they'll get on board because I think having them there would be really, really great for them and for our people to get on the cutting edge of what's coming in technology.
Yes,
So,
so good, so good. And like the way I look at it too is like these sponsors are bringing something to the table that like I can't, right? Like they're educating and giving information to our people that I'm like I don't know how to teach on that. Like so it's adding so much value.
mhm.
Okay, so let's talk about the attendees a little bit. So this is for crochet artists of any caliber. Like maybe they're interested in getting started or maybe they're already monetizing, right?
Mhm. Yes.
Yeah.
So we have classes that are great for beginners to just get an idea of like who is my ideal customer and how do I even get into the mindset of a business owner and what's even possible out there and what the heck is SEO, those kinds of things. And then we have classes for people who are like they're making, a full part-time, full-time income, but they want to look at scaling, or they want to look at how do I scale back the time that I spend in my business, but not lose income.
Mm,
So we're going to be talking about team building and those kinds of things as well.
I love it.
So yeah, we're trying to speak to a whole range of crochet folks.
Yeah, so there's like two different tracks, like a beginner track and then a more
Hmm.
advanced track. I love it. Do you think like I'm like picturing everyone walking around with like their little crochet bag? Do you think people will be crocheting in the audience?
For sure, for sure, because many of our crocheters, that's their coping mechanism when they're
Mm,
anxious, and
yeah.
so being in a new environment, being around a bunch of people. A lot of our people are introverts, so they'll bring their work and they'll just crochet as they're listening to talks or while they're talking together, or yeah, so you'll see a lot of movement happening
I can't
when you're
wait.
teaching.
I can't wait. I have two of my former students, art student actually, like only lives an hour away from there, and
Oh,
she
nice.
is an artist. She is an entrepreneur. I don't know that she's broken into to crochet. She does a lot of like greeting cards and like makes her own paper and like really cool stuff like that. And I was like, oh, I wonder if I can like get her to come and see what crochet is all about. I feel like she would love it.
That would be really fun. Yeah, invite her
Yeah.
and see.
Oh my gosh, I love it. So what else about the event? Let's talk about like what are you envisioning that people will kind of come to the event and then how will they feel after? Like what is your big vision for this?
So my big vision is more about people's hearts, because I find that a lot of people come to the industry and get overwhelmed really
Mm.
quickly, both by the technology, all of the things they have to do in a day. Like, they're not just crocheters now, they're photographers, they're marketers, they're
Mhm.
copywriters, all social media managers, all of the things. And there's so many hats that they have to wear that they really get overwhelmed. And so I want them to be in a room full of other people who understand that. Because a lot of times, family is just like, what are you doing? And if you're overwhelmed, why don't you just stop doing that?
Mhm.
Like, go get a real job. And so I want them to like really walk away feeling like this is a real job and people understand the overwhelm that I have. And there are ways to mitigate that overwhelm by building a team, by building systems, by having strategies, and by just having the support of other people who get it. Um, and I want them to also see what is possible.
Yeah.
So many people say like, oh, it's just crochet, like you can't, people don't value that, people aren't going to pay what you need to get paid, you're never going to make enough money. Well, we have people who are making $100,000, over $100,000, just designing, just sorry for saying just designing crochet patterns,
Yeah.
um, and doing amazing at that. So there are so many ways to monetize your love for crochet, um, that we want to like inspire people to have them walk away with a sense of hope and a strategy to like put into place and get working on it, when they leave.
Yeah. Well, I'm like such a huge advocate that marketing can be easy, right? Like it's so easy to look at all these different platforms and all these different places that we're supposed to be, but it can be easy. It doesn't have to be like everything all the time. It's just figuring out what works best for you and how you can show up, which platform is going to serve you the best. And just being really present that it's okay. We're going to do the best we can every single day and the needle's going to move and it's all going to be fine.
Yep, absolutely. Yeah, and so I think that community piece is probably my favorite.
Yeah. I mean, I really would
So,
say there's like this stigma that crochet and a lot of the fine arts. I mean, my mom's a potter and it's the same thing. It's like there's this stigma that that's just a hobby, right? So people have
right.
to really see like, no, it's actually possible to make a good living.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we're going to launch at this conference, we're launching a, a new business called the Crochet Professionals Network,
Oh,
which is going
cool.
to be a network of crocheters and allied business owners where we can get people together, and crocheters can feel like, no, I'm a professional crocheter, I'm a
Yes.
professional artisan, and look at the sticker I have that says I'm a professional. I'm in the Professional Crochet Association. Like, I am legit and I need to be treated as such.
Yeah.
So often people's families are like, just, would you just, like, you have a degree in whatever. Can you just go work in that field?
Yeah.
And they're like, that's not my heart.
And
So,
just embody like calling themselves an artist or in a creative, right? Like a crochet
absolutely.
is their niche, but there's so much more than that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, my mom does pottery and sculpture for a living, but I'm like, but she's an artist. Like
Yeah.
that's the characteristics that she's embodied, right?
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yep. I think as soon as you start saying, I'm an artist, I remember when I made that shift of, oh, I have this little crochet shop. I have this little
Yeah.
crochet shop to, I'm an artist and I sell, fiber, whatever, fashion, or I'm a fashion designer. A lot of our people would say I'm a fashion designer.
Mm,
And it just is like, you can sit up straighter, because you're feeling it.
yes.
Not because it matters what anybody else thinks, but you're feeling it. And when you start feeling it for yourself, of like, no, like, I am an artist. That's awesome.
Yeah, and
You
people are
know,
gonna believe in you as much as you believe in yourself, right? So it's that
right.
domino effect of like if you truly know that this is who you are and you're an artist and it's more than a hobby, then everybody else starts to see that too. That's such a beautiful
Hmm.
thing. I remember that with photography when I was like, I'm a photographer. I'm a photographer. I'm a photographer.
No, I take pictures, you
Yeah.
know.
I mean, it's so funny because even my name was Elizabeth Hinson Photos because to me, I wanted to be more casual, right? I didn't feel confident enough to go out the gate and be like Elizabeth Hinson Photography, right? But it's like, oh, I probably could have done photography. I would have, would have made more sense. But
Hmm.
yeah, it's a growing evolution that we all have to go through. I think as entrepreneurs and really like owning it and just continuing to chase that best version of ourselves.
Hmm. Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay. So what else is coming up for you? What else would you like to share about the Crochetpreneur and how we can support you? Because I just really believe in this mission, no matter what medium artists choose, the creative arts and women are always my favorite people to work with. So, we want to support you and elevate all of your people as much as we can.
Gosh. Well, what's coming up for us? Man, you know what? After this conference, I'm gonna chill for a while, and I feel like I haven't been the best role model for the people in my course of what it looks like to be a healthy business owner,
Mm,
and like working too many hours, not taking vacation, not focusing on like the people in my life who are like, if you have a why that's like, I want to have this business so that I'm free to do whatever, whatever, but you're not doing that because you're working too much. I feel like I haven't been a good model with that. So I'm dialing back to say, how can I serve my people in the best way possible so they're not going to miss out on anything, but also serve my life and
yeah.
my health and focusing on those kinds of things. So my husband's like, you're going on vacation by yourself because he knows that's what I want to do. I love vacationing by myself. Um, you're going to go somewhere by yourself. You're going to have some fun for a little while. And I know I'm going to come back regrouped with new ideas and new fun things to focus on. So
And then
for
you'll
me, that's
overwork
what
all
I'm going
over
to do.
again.
I know. What I have a feeling I'm going to do is start probably a membership
Mm,
for crochet business owners who want to operate their business in a way that doesn't suck the life out of them,
yeah.
and so that we can all hold each other accountable. So maybe that looks like a sort of mastermind of healthy crochet business owners where we, you know, I don't know, we do health challenges, or I don't know yet, but
Yeah. No, but that
but I
balance
know
is
I
so
need to
important.
focus in that way. Yeah.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, I have learned rather than to speak to myself like I have to be all one way or all the other. It's like I really get present to like my energy and my flow around business. And if I'm having a day where I'm just not feeling it, like I don't really want to show up on social media or I don't really feel like creating anything, then I just go do something else. Like I'm
Hmm.
like, if I go to the gym, if I go for a walk, if I, whatever, the creative like energy will come back. And I've learned to just really lean into, I'm not feeling it today, so I'm not going to force
Yeah.
it, versus, like I've got to work every single day, because I used to really feel so strapped to my computer, and like I would run, the kids would leave the house and like I would run up to my computer, right? Because I'm like, I got to get every single minute. And I'm sure you felt like
Right.
that before.
It's like you have to squeeze the juice out of
Yeah.
every second in order to make sure you make the money,
Yeah.
right? I think because there's that tie there of like, well, if I slow down, the money's going to slow down. And while we need to make the money, that's not the only point,
Yeah. And there's
right?
no
Like,
there's no data, there's no evidence to show that hard work creates more money. Anything, if you look at
exactly.
society, most people that make the most money don't work as much. Right? But we're so
Right.
backwards.
Yep. So how do we become those people
Yeah.
who are like, I work 4 hours a day, and that's my goal. I want to work 4 hours a day
Yeah.
and have the business make the same money it was. And my people don't miss out on anything. I still do my coaching calls and my mastermind calls and all those things that I love to do. But I don't spend all my time on Canva. I love Canva, but our mutual friend Joey posted something the other day about like something about you're a CEO. You shouldn't be spending your time
In
on
Canva.
Canva. And I was like,
Like, I'm called
no.
out.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know,
So
but and I agree with the 4 to 5 hours, I think, is like my sweet spot. I find, I usually start my day like around 9, and then by like 2, I'm done. Like I'm brain
mhm.
dead, and I usually take a break in there for lunch. That really is ideal. But then it's like you get in these creative modes where you're like, I could work all day.
Uh-huh.
And then my kids get home and I'm like, I want to go back to work. That's why I'm like, I stopped trying to force myself to take time off or force myself to work. It's like I just follow like the energy that I have that day. And sometimes
That's
it
really
means I can't
good.
sleep because my creative brain is going. But we're entrepreneurs. We're crazy. We just, that's why we have to be in a room together, Pam.
I know. It really is. No, I know. We are crazy and I think we love what we do.
Yeah.
And there's the days that we're like, oh my gosh, I'm going to burn it down. I don't love it. Well, then you just take care of yourself
Yes.
because that will go away. That's just a temporary thing.
Yes.
Um,
Yep.
but
And I
agree with
learned,
you that going with the flow of your own energy and how you're feeling about it is really important.
yeah, I had a professional cycle tracker on the podcast. She helps women like sync their business and their cycle. And I realized I was having the I don't know what I want to be when I grow up meltdown. I want to burn it all down like the same time each month. So now I know, okay, this
Interesting.
isn't real. I don't really want to quit and like burn everything down. This isn't real. It'll pass. It'll pass. So I was like, oh, I'm so glad that I learned that. Like you would think at 42, I would have seen that coming, but no, I was like, okay, so I can get through those phases a little bit easier now.
That's good. Even to like, man, I like to have visual reminders.
Yes.
So just to have a thing up there to be like, this is the time of the month. We're
Yeah.
not.
Be prepared, Liz, that
Your
you
emotions are
don't know
going to
what you want
lie
to do when you
today.
grow up on these days. Oh my gosh, I love it. Well, thank you for sharing that piece and being so open and vulnerable about the work-life balance, because you could have shared anything. You could have shared, I'm, writing a book, or I'm creating this new course, and you're like, "No, I really want to show up better for my people and be a better example of a healthy work-life balance." And that's really, really powerful. Thank you for opening up and sharing that with us. And I cannot wait for your event. We're going to put all the links in the show notes and get some more attendees. I know you're going to book out, and I'm really excited to meet everyone. Let everyone know where they can go find the event. How about that?
Sure. Yes, crochetbusinesssummit.com is where you'll find all the details about the event. And you'll see Elizabeth's beautiful face there under our speaker list. And yeah, we're happy to have anyone who's an artisan join us. Like, we're specifically talking about crochet, but many of the sessions can relate to any business. So if you're like, I live nearby, I'd like to show up, come show up and just be
Yeah.
like, hey, I just want to learn what you guys are doing. If you're a knitter, yes, you're welcome. I often get messages from knitters saying, can I come to the thing?
Or like needle
Yes.
felting. My daughter
Yeah,
loves needle felting.
oh, fun. Yes, fiber arts. If you're in the fiber arts industry, especially, come join us. And we'd be happy to meet you and see how we can collab in the future, see how we can help you grow and encourage you and support you and get you more money
Yes,
eventually.
I love it. And then
So,
what's your favorite social media platform? Where can people go hang out with you?
I think my facial, nice. Instagram is kind of where I hang out the most.
Yeah,
Yeah.
same. Cool. Okay, what's your Instagram handle? Is it just Crochetpreneur?
It's at the Crochetpreneur.
Okay, the
So
Crochetpreneur
the
on Instagram.
Crochetpreneur. Yeah.
Got it.
If you
Okay.
go to at Crochetpreneur, it will tell you to go to at the Crochetpreneur.
Oh
So
yeah, smart. I did that a while back with one of mine. And then I, this is really funny. So I did that with Elizabeth Henson photos or Elizabeth Henson photography or something where I went and I just kind of like claimed the handle. And then the other day, like recently, I was searching and somehow myself popped up. And I'm like, somebody copied my account. Somebody's catfishing me
oh
because it had
no.
been so long ago. And I completely forgot I did that. And I was literally about to like start telling my friends someone catfished me. And then I realized I did that.
That's funny. Well, I ended up having to get mine because when I first started my business, somebody had Crochetpreneur,
Mm-hmm.
but it was like a shut down business and it was just sitting there. And so I couldn't get that handle. But then eventually I trademarked Crochetpreneur. So then I told Instagram, this is a dead account, but they have the handle.
Yeah.
So can we make that mine? And they said yes. So,
Oh, so smart.
so
I
that was
love
good.
it. Cool. Well, thank you so much, Pam, for hanging out with us today. I really enjoyed this, and I cannot wait to see you in April.
Me too. Thanks for having me. It was great to talk to you.
All right, you guys. So this is episode 142. So you will be able to go find all of Pam's links and everything about the Crochet Summit over at elizabethhenson.co/E142. And if you want to go directly to the business summit, you can just go to crochetbusinesssummit.com or the crochetpreneur or just crochetpreneur is where you can find all of Pam's goodness. And then she is on Instagram at the Crochetpreneur. Easy to find. She's easy to find in all the locations. Pam Grice, the Crochetpreneur. And if you love crochet, I hope you will come to the conference and hang out with us. It is going to be in Denver or right outside of Denver. And I just cannot wait to be there and to serve the heck out of these amazing artists and crochetpreneurs. So thank you guys so much for listening. Don't forget to check in with Pam if you go stalk her on Instagram. Leave us a review on iTunes or share this episode with a friend. It truly means the world to us. And we'll put all those links in the show notes, elizabethhenson.co/E142. Thank you so much for listening.